Hey guys, it's Katie here with Life the Mundane and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking all things 5th grade. Did I just say 5th grade? I cannot wrap my head around the fact that my two boys are going into 5th grade, guys. That makes me feel so incredibly old. All right, so we are going to jump into our 5th grade curriculum for the 2020-2021 school year. That is a mouthful. And I'm going to be showing you something a little bit different here because my kids are different. All of them are. And we are very big on personalizing their education to them. My son, one of my sons, is on the autism spectrum, has some special needs, has some learning challenges. And so I decided that I'm going to show you guys what we're doing for him this year, as well as what I'm doing with my more neurotypical son, and show you kind of the compare and contrast, what things we're doing together, what things we're individualizing to them, and hopefully it will help inspire you guys to individualize your children's education to them in particular. So let's get started. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, I'm going to call them Child 1 and Child 2. Child 1 has special needs and Child 2 is more neurotypical. We don't share their names on the channel and I want to protect their privacy to some extent, but I have gotten permission from them to share this with you guys. First, we're going to talk about the things that they are doing the same. So that is math. We are doing teaching textbooks yet again. If you guys want to see my video on that, you can check it out up above or down below. But we have loved teaching textbooks since their grade, and they have been doing both really, really well with it and going strong, so we are going to stick with it. If you guys are not familiar, just a brief thing, teaching textbooks you can get on a disc or you can use it as an online program, and it is a program that teaches your kid the math lesson, it grades their math, and it tells them and explains why they got it wrong if they do get it wrong. And we have loved this program so much. They're really retaining a lot. I know a lot of people say, not a lot, but some people say that there's retention issues. We've had zero. They have really grasped everything that they've gotten from this. So we're sticking with it. The next thing that we are doing together, because we're doing it all together, is Story of the World. We are on year 3. That is crazy to think. It feels like just yesterday that we started this program. But Story of the World, it has a textbook, which is much smaller than this, but it was on my shelf and I forgot to grab it, and our student activity workbook. In the past 2 years, we have done the textbook. We've read it out loud. The very first year, we read it out loud and we did some of the activities, but then it got to be too much, so we scaled back and just did the textbook. This past year, we just did the textbook. We would watch some YouTube videos or maybe read a book from the library on a different subject, but not really supplementing it heavily because we were still getting the hang of some of our other new subjects that we were adding in as my kids were getting older. So this year, we are going to supplement a little bit more with the activity book. It has map pages, it's got games and activities and coloring pages and stuff like that in the center for all different ages. And then in the front, they have questions, regarding the chapter, and then also additional books you can get from the library to read and supplement with. So I think we're going to do more of that this year now that we've kind of found our groove, and I'm excited to dig a little deeper into history. So we will be using this with our history. It's an Usborne timeline of the world history, and it starts much sooner than where we're at. We're more towards the middle, but what's neat about it is it tells you the dates and it tells you what's going on in Southern and Western Europe, Northern and Eastern Europe, Africa and Middle East, Asia, the Americas, and it'll give you kind of a rundown of the timeline of what's happening at the exact same time. So the kids really can get a visual and understand that. So I'm excited to kind of dig into that more with them. We have done some really basic timeline things before. I'm just not very good at being consistent with it, if I'm being honest. So I'm excited that even if we forget to put our timeline pieces in our book that we have, we can at least have this to give us a visual of what is going on. And then we can read more about different topics that are interest to them. So the next thing that we are doing together is we are doing our Apologia Science. This year we are doing astronomy, which we are so excited about. All the kids have been interested in astronomy for the longest time, and so they've been dying to get their teeth into this book for sure. I am actually excited because Apologia reached out to me and offered to send me a brand new copy of their astronomy book, because I've always had the older editions of the books and I love the way it's set out. It's beautiful with the pictures and everything, and really loving this layout. So I'm excited to give this a try, and will share with you guys what I think about it. Also, with that, they sent us the student journals. Now, if you guys have seen my previous videos, you know that we did not use the student journals last year, and we just used a notebooking notebook, which was fine, but we were doing botany, which is a lot easier to just observe things in your yard and do nature journaling. It's hard to nature journal space. So I'm excited to have the student workbooks for this. What I did do differently is for student 1, they will be using the junior notebook, and student 2 will be using the regular student notebook. So the difference basically is how much writing is involved. The regular student notebook has crossword puzzles, and their pages to like write down things are just lined instead of more of a writing type tablet. They also have fun activities, like here you're gonna make a Venus volcano mini book, and they've got all the supplies in here for it, and I'm excited to be able to do more of that this year, and to be able to dig into it more. So that book has a lot of the same activities as the junior notebook, but it has more spaces just for writing versus prompts for it. This one also has coloring pages in it, and so that is a little bit different too, but you'll see like here's one of the observation pages. Instead of having regular lines, it's got the dotted lines for it, and then like I said, it has coloring pages included in the junior one that are not included in the regular notebook. One thing I want to point out with either book, they have copy work included in them, and what I love about it is on one page they have the print version of the copy work, and they're usually Bible verses, and on the other side they have cursive, so you can have your child do whichever is best for them. I will be doing a complete flip through these curriculums and showing you guys inside the journal and all of that fun stuff later this year, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. For writing, we are going to be doing the IEW, Institute for Excellence in Writing, People and Places in Our Community. This is technically scripted for 1st and 2nd grade, and I realize my kids who are using it are going to be much older than that, but it says, however, they can be adapted for older students. And since still, if you look at the scope and sequence, they're still going to be dealing with a lot of the same things they would be dealing with in the Student Intensive A course that they have, and they work on keyword outlines, and they're going to work on research papers, and they're going to work on all of that. But the source text that they are working from is much more simple. So what it allow my kids to do, especially my older ones who this is a little bit easier for, it'll allow them to focus way more on the writing and not have to worry so much about the reading aspect of it. Also, for like a 1st and 2nd grader, they recommend that they read over this and then they dictate to you their keyword outline and you write it for them. Well, obviously for my older kids, I'm going to have them write it themselves. And then here, it's got a little bit more of a breakdown, right? So they're going to be brainstorming their LY adverbs, and they're going to be working with their who, which clauses, and doing a little bit more book work on that. And I think that will be helpful for my kiddos instead of just assuming they have all of that right now. They have the composition checklist just like they have in the other sets, but they sometimes have an extra game or an extra activity. They have suggested read alouds that you can read with this, and a lot of these are picture books, and I realize that I have 5th graders and 4th graders using this, but my kids still enjoy hearing a good picture book, and it'd be a fun way to tie in the younger ones with the older ones. And I decided it would be easier to pick one writing curriculum and that I could do with all 4 of the kiddos, and I'll just adapt it to their specific need. For my 2nd grader, I probably will have her dictate the sentences to me. For my older kids, I will have them do this a lot more independently, but I thought it would be better to go with the slightly easier source text, let them improve their writing level, and really shine in their writing instead of having to deal with text that I have to help them with as much. And reduce the amount of time they can actually focus on getting better at writing. We are then now going to move to what is different. So that was a little bit of differences on how we vary the same curriculum that we're reading, but have them do it at a level that's a little bit easier for their needs. But what about what we're doing for everything else, especially language arts? Language arts, oh my, language arts is where we really start to take a divide because it's very complicated. We piece together our curriculum and are more eclectic in general, and so we do a little bit of everything. So let's jump into what language arts looks like. we are going to be doing two different things again. My first son is going to be doing Grammar Galaxy, the Protostar Volume 2. We have done Volume 1 in years past, and kind of got away from it for a little bit and ended up back at it last year, as they have just released audio versions of a teacher's book. I love audio versions. Anything to make things a little bit more hands-off and making them more mobile is awesome. And so what they've done is they have a teacher's book and a student book. The student book is consumable, and the teacher's book is a series of stories. These are super engaging stories and ways that they learn their grammar through it. But I like the audiobook a lot. Like, it is so engaging and exciting, and my kids could just listen to it. They listen to it just for fun, which is awesome because then they review those concepts over and over again. So Volume 2, their audiobook is coming out in August. I'm going to do a whole separate video on Grammar Galaxy in August and show you guys inside of it and show you all the fun goodies that are involved in this when they have that new audiobook out. But we've really enjoyed it since doing that. And this is more his speed than what I'm about to show you for set number 2. So number 2 is going to be using Fix-It Grammar. Now, if you watched my video last year, you're probably like, hey, Katie, I thought you were going to use that last year. Yeah, best laid plans. Didn't end up happening, guys. Sorry. But the way Fix-It Grammar is done by IEW, the same people that do the writing curriculum that we're using, and the idea is that they're editing one sentence a day and learning concepts along the way to work on editing, and that through editing other people's work, that's how you learn good grammar. So it's a very different approach and method. It's a little bit heavier on the reading side, whereas this is very, very light on the reading. Very, very light. So we're just gonna kind of do our thing. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if my other son and my other kids join in on this for the audiobook because they just love hearing the stories. And who knows, he may join in on this for a little while too. We leave it very flexible and open to adjusting and changing as the year goes. And I'll do better this year about doing a mid-year review and letting you know how the school year is going, because I feel like I kind of failed that time on this year. Granted, it's been a crazy 2020. All right, next let's go to reading. So for reading, for my son number 2, we are going to be continuing all about reading. He is actually already in level 4. He finished level 3 pretty early on in the year. He is into level, pretty early on in 2020. He has moved into level 4 and should be done with that no later than December, but probably even sooner than that. He's really just, it's clicking, he's taken off, he's going, and I would not be surprised if he finishes this relatively soon. So he's doing a great job going through this. This has been a great program for him. And after level 4, my plan is just to do assigned reading for him and giving him books. Right now, he is enjoying just picking up whatever he's interested in, and I want to kind of encourage that as we're going through this. But after that, I will probably start assigning books. I haven't gotten there yet as far as which books I'm going to assign. So if you've got ideas, drop them down in the comments. I would love to hear. And then for son number 1, we are going to be continuing with Happy Cheetah. If you guys have been watching my videos, you know I've just recently done reviews on the Happy Cheetah reading system. We went back to level 1 and are just starting our way through it because he had hit a mental block. We had been trying all about reading. It had become very hard for him. Academically, I do think it was too hard for him, but also I think that we just hit a mental component where he was refusing to learn. He was not going to absorb anymore. And so even going back later in that program and like reviewing stuff was not an option because his brain just would shut it off the second he saw it. So we switched over to Happy Cheetah Reading, have been super happy with it. Different things for different kids, right? We personalize to each and every kid. But this is below grade level for him typically. He has done book 1. He will finish it this week. So he has done book 1 in a little less than 3 months. So our plan this next year is that he will finish book 2, 3, and 4 throughout the year. If he finishes 4 with a lot of time to spare, we might consider going back to where he was in All About Reading and finish it out. We might just do assigned reading. I don't know. I'm not ready to commit on where we're going to go at that point, but that is the plan for this year. With spelling, my son number 2 did really great with All About Spelling. We ended up doing writing the first semester and focusing on spelling the second semester. Again, things just get different, guys. You can do different things. You can do different subjects in different semesters, and that's totally fine. So we finished All About Spelling 1 in the first semester. And so we are planning on doing spelling all year round, and we're going to do level 2 and 3 for my second son, and they're excited about continuing on with that. But going at this rate, at this pace, my first son could not keep up with it. It was a real struggle for him. And so we just decided it was better to let son number 2 just kind of go with it and not hold him back, but also not drag my other son along with it. And with Happy Cheetah Reading, they actually include a lot of spelling they include a lot of spelling elements to it. So for right now, we're just calling that good for spelling. We do use Spelling City, Vocabulary City, which you guys can check out online. It's totally free. There's an app for it, or you can pay $35 for the year and have some more stats on it and be able to do more with assigning lists. But you can input your own lists of words, and then it gives your children games and activities to reinforce those words. So we will continue using that for both boys. Now, for handwriting, again, my son number 1 will be doing Happy Cheetah Reading. They have tons of handwriting. Every single day has a handwriting element to it, and that has actually been a huge blessing. Typically, writing things has been very challenging for him, but since starting this program, I've found him writing on his own even more. And I think part of it is just it's in bite-sized pieces, but done every single day, so it just becomes habit. For my second son, we are going to work on just refining. Obviously, he knows how to write all of his letters, but working on that copy work, working on perfecting those letters and better penmanship. So we are going to do the Draw Right Now books. These I do not have purchased yet. I have to order them still, but they are a great, neat little curriculum that my mother-in-law actually used with my husband. They have elements, they're themed. So what's neat is I actually picked the 2 books to do this year that will go along with the historical context that we're learning in our story of the world. So it can be a reinforcement on history. So it'll have them draw something from history. It'll teach them how to draw it, and then it will give them a copywork section on that, something about that picture. And then they will copy that. I think this will be fun because we have been trying to incorporate a little bit more art. My kids are very artsy and I'm very not. So I'm excited to incorporate a little bit more art into it that way. But we will be doing that for son number 2. Again, if son number 1 wants to jump in and do that every once in a while, totally fine with me. We will definitely just take it moment by moment. But that is the plan to do for each of them right now. We also are working on typing. We've been doing Mavis Beacon typing on our computer, and it has worked, but it's not my favorite. So I am still looking for a good typing program. If you have one, please drop it down in the comments. If it's free or cheap, that's even better, but I'm willing to spend some money on typing. I just think it's an important skill for them to have to be able to do that quickly these days. And so I would love to hear your guys' recommendations on that. We also will be doing some fun interactive stuff. Like with math, we do the Extra Math app, and it works on just drilling those math facts in a fun, engaging way. And it's a very simple app, honestly, but has worked really well for helping my kids really nail down their math facts. So we'll continue that this year. We will be doing probably some extra unit studies here or there throughout the year, but I don't necessarily plan those in advance. We have talked about doing maybe a Khan Academy lesson, which is a free online schooling option for maybe a computer engineering or something like that they're interested in, but that we will wait until probably mid-year to incorporate. We really enjoy throwing in something fun and engaging around January because we're all getting kind of tired of the same old, but we've also gotten the opportunity to build the routine in of the basics of the things we have to have. And then we'll throw something fun in the mix in January if we feel like we can handle it. So hey guys, I am coming to you after I've already recorded my other video because I forgot about one key important thing that we are doing for student number 1. There has been some cognitive issues. We know there's obviously some delays, and with the autism, there's been some struggles. And so we are actually going to be doing Cognifit for our year for just him. And what this is an online program. They have you take a assessment to see where your child is in all of these different cognitive skills. And then after assessing your child, they give them short games and activities to do online to work on these things like auditory short-term memory, contextual memory, divided attention, focus, hand-eye coordination, inhibition, naming, planning, processing speeds, recognition, response time, shifting, short-term memory, spatial perception, updating, nonverbal memory, visual perception, visual scanning, visual term memory, working memory, and all of these other things, right? So they're going to test all of those different areas of your child. They're going to identify the areas that they struggle, and then they're going to give them games and activities that they can play and do to work and build on those skills. Excited to try this out, and be sure to stay tuned to my channel because I'm going to be sharing a lot more about how this program works and what we think of it after we've gotten a chance to use it. We're just really trying to search for anything we can to help equip our kids for what they need for the future, and we feel like this would be a great option for that. So I'm excited to share more about that. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. I would really encourage you to look at your children and give them what they need specifically, not what's within grade level, what works for them. Some of these things are in grade level, some are not. Some will do part of it in grade level and part of it not. So I just would encourage you to get past the labels and do what's right for your kid. Be sure to stick around because next Saturday we're going to be tackling 4th grade, and then after that we will be tackling 2nd grade for my other child with special needs, and I'm excited to share with you guys what we're doing there. You can also be sure to stick around for Wednesday's video, which is going to be all about how to start homeschooling in 2020. With everything that's going on, I know there are a lot of little nuances that are different than typical years, so we're going to talk about some of those, and we have so many more fun videos ahead for July. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out, and check out one of these other videos to show you a little bit more about the curriculum that we're using this year.